We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guy Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
Hey, this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con!
Welcome to our annual after show for San Diego Comic-Con. My name is James D. Fry on Instagram. You can just call me Jim. And always follow us here at theconguy.com. Who do we have here to my this way?
It's your left, Jim.
To my left. So this is my left.
It's stage left. Yeah. Anyway,
it's the sleeveless guy.
I'm Derek. I am the one of the regulars here on the Con Guy Show, and my Twitter handle is here below my face for those rare occasions when I actually interact with the horrible place that is social media.
And for those who are just listening, what is your Twitter handle?
It's at Con Guy Derek.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Cheeseman. What's up? I am Cheeseman, one of the founding members of theconguy.com, screenwriter, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cheese on Couch.
And Con Girl.
It's me, Katie, representing the Con Girls tonight.
1 second, Katie. We can't hear you.
You're super quiet.
Because I switched mine. The cord is going across my body, and I hate it. But it did work.
Perfect.
All
You're
right.
back.
I hate it.
Sorry, guys. It's Katie, aka the Con Girl. I'm the only sole representation of the Con Girl tonight, being as Danae was not able to engage in the nerdiness that is Con Guy, Comic-Con. Sorry, obviously Con Guy. But yeah, excited to talk about Comic-Con. It was an interesting one. So.
It was an interesting one. I'm anxious to hear about that. Hey, everyone, it's me, old buddy Ben. You can find me at Ben Cleaver on Twitter, Instagram, The Tick and Talk. I only have 2 videos up, but I kind of like TikTok. It's kind of fun. You just watch videos. Anyway, that's at BENKLIEWER. I'm an actor, comedian, pretty regular host here with the Con Guy. Get into shenanigans with these fools, etc.
That's right. And Derek, the better half of Derek has said, lovely, Lara. Derek, I'll let that one go.
Oh, Jim. My wife is a producer, and she says she can, help me out with Twitter.
I love it.
We're just going to go with that's what she said. That's exactly what she said.
All right, let's say hello to a couple people real quick. We
Twitter
are so glad. Jonathan, so glad to have you with us. Jonathan here, watching the Con Guy Show. Awesome. Yeah. Amanda Yallen.
Happy birthday. Amanda.
Yeah. All right, good to see you, Amanda. I think Brad may be joining in a little bit later as well, because Brad gave us a really cool portfolio of the party picks from
wow.
Birthday is next month.
Birthday.
She
Amanda,
actually
here's
has
the
a
deal.
good one. That's great.
I know if we just keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Cheese says hi.
Aw.
Hi, Mom.
That's so sweet. And since we're talking about mamas, let's for those of you who pray, please keep my mama in your prayers. She is recovering from a bad case of COVID. She cannot get out of so Dad's fine. And because they both got it at the same time, and Dad's like, we'll get better. So they didn't go. And my mom's like, what? And I talked to my mom. She's just coughing and hacking up a lung. I'm like, Mom, are you okay? But she's
That's
doing
the big
a lot
of
better.
it. Yeah.
So I'm hoping. So Mom won't be joining us tonight. She's in bed, as she should be if she's watching right now. Mom, go to bed and drink your fluids. But anyways, we are talking about San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Speaking of COVID, doggone it. It stole 2 years from us, but we came back. Comic-Con came back with a vengeance this year. It came back in force. It came back big, full. It was spread out across all kinds of different venues. Did you guys notice, there were, I guess they've always done this, but because of where I stayed, I was able to go to sessions quickly in the Marriott, in the Hilton, over at the library. They had it just spread out. Even the Omni had some sessions over there in an art show, and man, I was just really Brianna. Ben's wife says hi from the living room.
Hi, wife.
Hi, Ben's wife.
Hi, Bree.
Hello.
Lily says hello.
Hello.
You know,
Lily.
I'm going to go ahead and say one of my top 3 things was meeting Lily this weekend. She drove up. I didn't know that Lily is from down in Mexico. She drove up and she had a blast. Lily, it was such a pleasure to meet you at San Diego Comic-Con this last week. That was amazing. So thank you for coming up and thank you for finding me. I was sitting there waiting for some of the Power Rangers to show up, and Lily was able to meet some of the Power Rangers as well as they showed up, and we were greeting them. So what we're going to do tonight, everybody, this is real simple. We are going to go through and pick what stood out and some of the best stuff that happened at San Diego Comic-Con. And then I don't like to say the worst, but there were some things that, that maybe kind of caught us off guard. And you know what? San Diego Comic-Con always has rooms for improvement. They don't have room for more people, but they do have room for improvement. So anyways, we are going to start by one thing. I just want to say this. You can notice these shirts that me and Cheeseman are wearing. These are the summer of 1982, which was what we were celebrating. By the way, Lily, she says hello from Tijuana /San Diego.
She's from Tijuana / San Diego. They're practically the same city.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. You know what I'm saying?
Mike Emke, dodging storms and watching the con guy. Hello, Mike. I owe Mike a phone call. Mike is the guy that we are part of the We Be Geeks network of podcasts, and that's Mike's network, and he puts that together. And he also is a host on very many podcasts, and he is currently on a very cool project for Lucasfilm and the Disney company over in Orlando. And you can probably guess what that is, and he's doing a great job down there, having a great time. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and start with some of the best parts of San Diego Comic-Con. And I don't think I was asking Luke, like, well, how should we do this? Do we go one at a time? Or let's just play it by ear. We'll just see what goes. We're going to play it by ear. And, oh, wait. All right, Mike, we got to talk. Not anymore. But I'm sure you had a blast. By the way, look at it. If you guys can see Mike's helmet there, he's wearing the Rebel helmet. I love it. I love it. And hello, David. Good to see you tonight. All right, guys, let's start talking Comic-Con. Let's start with Katie.
Okay.
Katie, and you just let me know if this goes along with some of the pictures you sent.
Yeah, just put the pictures up and I can talk about it. It may be more than 3, but I only have a few that I...
Oh, I think you have 5 of them. 5 good pictures.
Yeah.
Let's start right here.
So Emily and I debuted a new cosplay, which was fun. We unfortunately did not last too long because it was hot. So we did this for a few hours, though. Someone did call me Henderson, so they got it. So, that was fun.
Wait. Henderson?
Yeah, because Dustin Henderson. They were like, "What's up, Henderson?"
Oh.
Yeah. So, this is Emily as Steve Harrington and me as Dustin Henderson from Stranger Things 4.
Okay, you know what? That's a lot better than what my initial reaction. For those of you looking at this, it's Emily and Katie, and she's got kind of like you know what I thought this was at first? Can I be forgiven for saying she looks a little bit like she's wearing a Han Solo jacket, and Katie looks like she
was sort of doing Chewbacca with the
yes, that looked almost like Chewbacca and Han too. But now that you say
that would have been the worst Chewbacca and Han cosplay
yeah,
I've ever seen.
I was gonna say I'm not getting Han from that jacket. It's a leather bomber jacket, but
it's like old man Han from the new trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
right, cool.
So with my homemade ghillie, it's not a full suit. It's just like a cape kind of poncho type thing that I made, and it was fun. But I wish we'd last longer. But like I said, because we were a mile. This will be on my worst, but because of circumstances, it got too hot, and I unfortunately did get overheated, and then felt really sick that night in my hotel. That was not fun. But yeah,
Katie, that is cool because we saw like when you were putting it together, pictures of when you were assembling it. I have mad respect for Katie. She does everything by hand, and unlike me who buys things out of a plastic bag, Katie makes her stuff. So I love that. All right, want to go to the next one?
Sure. This was at preview night. one thing Emily and I wanted to do was get these amazing Bob's Burgers t-shirt exclusives, which you have to take the picture off for a second, Jim, so people can see my shirt. So
Wait, let's pull Katie up.
it says grand reopening, or hold on. So if you watch Bob's Burgers, the restaurant opens and reopens multiple times. So they made this Comic-Con exclusive shirt, Todd landed, and it says San Diego Summer Convention. They all have like the big bags, you know, fanny packs, lanyards. It's just fantastic. It's
That
a
is great.
great mashup of Bob's Burgers and San Diego Comic-Con. So I had to get it.
That's
and I actually
fantastic.
I'm not like a massive fan of Bob's Burgers, but like Emily loves it, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you for getting a Bob's Burger shirt." I'm like, "It's great." It's like
Derek, I know Derek's mad fans of
Yeah.
Bob's
Oh yeah,
Burgers.
Danae and I both love Bob's Burgers a lot.
But the fun thing about that photo for those listening, is Emily got to hold the end of line sign.
Oh, wow,
Which is
yeah.
a big thing at Comic-Con. If you're at booths, there's a line, and there has to be a way for people to know, like, this is the end of the line. She only held it for probably like 20 seconds before other people got behind her. But we thought it was fun, so we had to like document the moment of her actually holding the end of line sign.
Now this next picture, I'm really jealous of. I'm not gonna lie.
So, for those of you listening, it is a picture of me outside the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves Tavern. Ben can chime in because I know he also went. But we actually got lucky. We unfortunately were not able to get reservations, but the standby line was going so quickly. Like, they did such a good job at their line control. I
That's
just
what I
have to give
heard.
a shout out to anybody who ran this particular offsite, because the line went to like the end of the block. We actually did have an ADA pass because unfortunately my roommate could not walk a majority of the weekend. But so for us, we waited probably about 20 minutes, but even the rest of the line, like while we were waiting in line, they were letting so many people from standby go in. I was so excited. It was a really cool offsite. Probably one of my favorite things I've done for sure at most cons. You got like a free drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic in there. They had different D&D characters on display inside, and it just looked like a tavern. And then they had a little show with a big dragon trying to
Well,
get in.
since we're here talking about that offsite, I think multiple people I've heard that this was one of their highlights. Ben, what about you? What did you think? You went to the offsite as well?
Yeah, we actually got reservations for it, so we went in the reservations line, which was a little quicker than the standby line, but we got there about 20 minutes before our reservation time, and they didn't let us in until our reservation time, so we stood in line for about 20-25 minutes. But yeah, it was really cool. You go in, they give you a free drink. It was some kind of mule or something, I don't know what it was. And in these glass mugs, and then they would, the tavern keepers were all these people in kind of medieval costume. They'd get up and sing a song, or they'd make an announcement, and then they kept talking about their unruly neighbor next door, and then there'd be rumors, oh, it's a dragon, and they had a huge like LED screen on the side of the wall in this nightclub that it was pretty cool, because it's the same technology they use for The Mandalorian, and they're using it a lot more for entertainment and in stadiums and pop-ups and that sort of thing. And so there was this whole...
Yeah.
What?
Well, just for a production. Like, there are a lot of
Right.
shows on different streaming services that do that.
Yeah.
Like the way The Mandalorian was made is getting a lot more common.
Right,
They can
exactly.
do amazing things with it.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. So it's like we're looking out of this window into the forest, and then this dragon's flying around and roaring, and then he looks into the tavern and sees everybody, and then breathes fire into the tavern, and all this smoke came out and filled the room, and then they were like, "All right, that's the show. Get out of here so the next group can come in." But it was really cool. It was a lot of fun.
So like David Tapia, he's commenting, because that the D&D Tavern had the easiest offsite line. That's what we've heard. Like just what you said, Katie, they were moving them through pretty quickly.
I've never seen a line that's under an hour for like a standby line at Comic-Con.
And he said, I saw someone snag the mugs from the D&D Tavern.
That was the one thing that I was sad about, is we did not get to keep the mugs. That would have been awesome, because they were like a big mug, and they had the light up ice cubes in them. But other than that, like, it was still such a fun experience. And like for the wait, I'm like, it's fine. We still got to be in there for like 20 minutes. So like, it's not like it is in and out, but there is still like you do still get your time to drink your drink and stuff. And I got to meet a TikToker that I really like because he's his whole TikTok brand is his Tavern, and so he actually was there as well.
Wow.
And I got to meet him, which was really, really cool. So that was another fun experience. I timed it perfectly because his set was starting like right when we got there. So
Cool. And we're gonna go to your next picture, but first, hey Ben.
That's good.
All right. So, let me see. Katie's next. Oh, this one I really. Wait a second. I really want to hear about this. I do want to hear about this.
All right. So I have to post a video still. I was posting it on my story, but Saturday night there was like a lot of like, what do I do? Do I want to go to Gaslamp? Do I want to go to the Masquerade? What do I want to do? And there is a new amphitheater right behind the convention center on the water called the I can't remember what it's called right now. The Shell. It literally looks like a big shell. So the acoustics are awesome because they go all the way back and they amplify the sound. And as you can see, there's a big they can project on the inside and outside of the shell to do video, things like that. And they did the San Diego Symphony did a free show for people who were at Comic-Con of Dragon Ball Z. So if you guys are familiar with any symphony shows, it's where they, when they play the music along with video from the actual show. I've never seen Dragon Ball Z, but I thought this sounds fun. I am very glad I went because it was a very unique experience. And normally seeing like a symphony like that, it does cost a little bit of money. I've never been able to go to the Hollywood Bowl shows, so I was like, I'm going to try it. And, thankfully my friend was able to tell us like a rundown, like a Cliff Notes version of what was happening in the show. So we got like a 600 episode synopsis in like the hour and a half that we were there. But it was fun. And, Crunchyroll just had an insane presence at Comic-Con this year, which was awesome. I mean, their marketing was insane. It was everywhere. So, and obviously they are merging with Funimation. So, there's all that stuff too. But it was fun. And once it got dark, it was just gorgeous. It was beautiful weather. You're right on the water. So there's that breeze going. Really cool venue for sure. If you guys live in the San Diego area, it's like they're doing concerts there and stuff. It's directly behind the convention center.
All right. That sounds awesome. I know that Carrie who, I don't know if she, you know what? This is my bad. I did not invite Carrie onto the show tonight. Sometimes she has a busy, she does another podcast also on Monday night. So it's hard for her to jump on sometimes, but she also went back to the concert and had nothing but good stuff to say about it. Yeah. All right, Katie, this next one, I want to hear the story behind this.
Okay. Sorry guys. I know this is more than 3, but this is the last one. I promise. On Sunday morning, the artist, hold on. Sorry. I'm grabbing something. Artist Jason Derulo, for those listening, was at the con signing a graphic novel that he co-wrote. This whole booth, so I found out more about the booth when I was there waiting and when I got my book the day before, but basically Z2 has a lot of collaborations with musicians. So a lot of their books, like there was one by Jimmy Eat World, there was one by Metallica, like all these different ones. So they basically collaborate with music artists to make graphic novels. So the music artists can be like, hey, I'm actually kind of interested in doing a comic book, but I don't have the resources to do it, and they would help them do that. Or they will approach artists as well if they know they're interested. So it's pretty cool. I got his comic book, which I have here in my hand, but I got to meet Jason Derulo. And, the random things you get to do at Comic-Con. I mean, it was $20 for the graphic novel, and then they're like, just come back tomorrow. So we came back tomorrow. Both Emily and I met him. Super nice, super fun. You never know the random little things that are going to happen at Comic-Con and who you're going to meet. So this is the second time I have had a comic book signing from a celebrity on Sunday at Comic-Con. So, but yeah, this is his graphic novel. It's called Uzo. So I'm excited to read it. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, it's a very like apocalyptic type graphic novel. So
nice. Hey, wait, hold it up. Let's put you up full screen.
So,
let's take a look at that just a little bit.
It's very it's an apocalyptic story. And obviously there's a character that kind of has that similar Jason Derulo
very cool
structure.
Nice.
So, yeah. That's mine.
All right. Hey, Cheese Man, why don't you take us through some of yours? And like Luke's got a lot, but take us through part of them, and then we'll throw it over to Derek for a bit, either Derek or Ben. And Derek, I have one of your photos almost ready. I'm doctoring it up right now.
Good.
Doctoring it up.
Well, making it presentable.
Thanks.
Jim's airbrushing out the nipples.
No, I'm just making. Never mind. All right, Luke.
All right. Well, yeah. First of all, I just want to say, like, we had a great time Wednesday night. We went to the Ready Party 1 party of Thor: Love and Thunder. It was just decorated really cool, and there was live music. And then Dan Cooksey, who played Tim in Terminator, John Connor's friend, ended up showing up, and he sung an Alice in Chains song. So I was just going to play it, just a little clip of this, and
oh yeah,
his voice sounded really good, actually. So yeah, that was a little clip of Danny Cooksey singing. So it's kind of cool. Like there was some like celebrity guests at the party, and it was cool. They kind of brought some of them up on stage, and that was
the comment that just popped up by the FluxCapacitors. They approve of the video.
That's cool.
Oh wait, the FluxCapacitors.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're watching. Hello,
I was about to say,
great show, guys.
That party was one of my favorite of the week, and I'm so glad they're on because I love the FluxCapacitors so much. They just made the night. Anytime they're going to be at Comic-Con or anywhere, you guys should check them out.
Yeah, here's a couple of pictures. There's the lead singer of FluxCapacitors dressed up like Marty McFly.
Of course.
They usually do kind of more of like an 80s type set, but then this one specifically, they did more of like a 90s thing, which was kind of why they did the Alice in Chains. But yeah, it was a really cool set, and music sounded great. And then Bernie Bregman put it on, and this is him. He usually gets up and sings some karaoke, and then here's another picture.
It wasn't karaoke.
Oh, wait, not karaoke.
He was singing.
He did karaoke another night. No, he got up and sang with them. Sorry, it's been a long weekend. So, yeah, one of my favorite panels, I think it was Thursday we saw Bill Shatner.
Okay.
Billy Boy.
Yes. That was one of the favorite moments of any Comic-Con I've ever been at. It was so great. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I was just so Kevin Smith moderated it, and then they're doing Legion's doing a documentary on William Shatner, and I think mixing in some of his like is it poetry or music or something like that.
He does it all.
He does it all, people. But he was just telling stories, and he was very entertaining to watch on stage. And I have a short clip to show of him talking about San Diego Comic-Con, how it just like the beginning, how he was just surprised Comic-Con turned into this big thing.
Cool.
Yeah. When did it start?
70s.
Yeah, well, last year or whatever it was. Quite a few times. I mean, San Diego Comic-Con has grown. I mean, there's something in the water because it used to be like a little sleepy town, and you come to San Diego and, you look for a decent restaurant, and the streets were so clean, and there was nobody living in them, and prices of houses were depressed. And then Comic-Con took over. And it's like, well, I was told it might be 150,000 people here this weekend. 150,000 people. So what does that say? It says that you've been locked up for 3 years. And it's time to shout! That's it.
All right.
I heard there was closer to like 175,000 this year.
Oh, wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah. but
Bill
it didn't
Shatner was
feel-
wrong then. We can't trust anything he says.
It didn't
Well,
feel that
do
busy.
we really trust anything? Oh, can we stop for just 1 second, though? We got to stop.
Okay, stop.
we are recording this. We're recording this right here. Can we just stop and raise a glass to the beautiful Nichelle Nichols, who just passed and left this earth to go way beyond the stars, and we just want to I had the privilege of being here one time, and it was I don't remember which of the conventions. It may have been actually LA Comic-Con, and they were planning the Nichelle Nichols farewell. And she's just such a lovely lady. She played Uhura in the original Star Trek and all the follow-up motion pictures, and she did leave us this week. And but you know what a pioneering lady, and we just can't say enough about her. So now that we had William Shatner, Nichelle, you'll be missed. All right. I didn't mean to bring us down, but you know, like, we're celebrating her life. She was a great.
Jim, you just asked us to raise our glasses, and then you talked for a really long time. Put your glass down.
Yeah, we're just like slowly down, slowly back up. Okay, here we go.
But what's cool about and Luke brought up William Shatner. That is one of mine. That panel was so great. He was so funny. The guy is 90 years old, the oldest man ever to fly into outer space. But they had an all-day. It's Legion M, of which Ben is a part. Legion M, the fan-funded production and events company, and they did a hand ceremony. They did a nighttime party with William Shatner. They did signings throughout the day. I know that our friend Thomas, who we'll see pictures of him in just a second, he was able to go over and be part of. Didn't he facilitate something, Luke, in the morning? He was rushing from thing to thing that morning. I forgot what he did. But
he did one, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah,
you were the one that was supposed to make it to it.
I know.
So you knew the name of it.
I was supposed to do what?
No, you were almost going to the panel, and I think you knew the name of it. Yeah.
I just want to say hello to Andy Harrel. Andy, he was not able to make it to Comic-Con this year. We usually see Andy up at WonderCon. So Andy, sorry we didn't see you this year. I was wondering if you were there, but I think I remember you saying you weren't going to be able to make it this year. All right. Cheeseman, do you want to share another one, or should I throw it to Derek right now?
I'll do one more real quick with a quick clip as well. So Jim went to this as well. We went to the Stranger Things panel, and they had
it was actually the building worlds panel, of which Stranger Things was a part, the major part.
Yeah, and number 2 and number 10, the kids in the hospital were there, and his number 10's parents was on the panel with him as well. Like, it was kind of cool to see this family coming together and doing Comic-Con together, and they were kind of sharing stories about being on set and all that. And then I did a special little interview that I'm going to play a little clip of.
This is cool.
All righty, here we go.
Hey, what's up? It's Cheeseman here at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. I'm here with Tristan Spohn and Christian Gannier. Stranger Things cast, some of Papa's favorites. First question. What do you really think about Papa?
I love him personally. He's awesome. He definitely sticks up for me, so I have a really good relationship with him, and I love him very dearly. He's the only character I really get along with that well.
I want his validation so bad. Everything I do is just to make him love me, and he always chooses 10 or 11 over me, so it's very much so like all of my worth is defined by what you think of me, and whenever I don't think I'm valued, I go off the deep end.
Well, speaking of numbers, what was your relationship like with number 1?
He would help me a lot, and I loved him very dearly, and so I was sad to be brutally murdered by him.
Do you mean friendly, orderly, or one himself?
Well, you got a little bit of both, so what was both sides like?
So friendly, orderly, there was always, and Jamie did a great job of giving me this death stare even when he wasn't on camera, so I knew that he didn't like me. I just didn't know why until, of course, he completely destroyed me. But I, in my backstory, just assumed that I was barely with him when we were kids. He kicked my butt in a fight, and then he got sent away, and I didn't know what happened to him. And so I had no idea that friendly, orderly ended up being one. So,
now, what was it like working with Millie
And I think that's where it kind of cut off. So I'm just stopping before that question's asked.
It cut off because Jim was working the camera and I pushed the wrong button.
Oh no!
So the rest of our interview with two of the cast of Stranger Things was gone. That was great. It was kind of cool because we met the publicist and she got us into the panel and walked us up there. And then, that was it. Hey, before Derek, I do want to throw to Ben just for one question. Ben, your better half has a comment in the comment section. I don't know, but is this maybe one of your items? I'm going to tell you because, tell you what, the Berserker Hall H panel is what Brianna's saying, and let's just say Brianna kind of had a big hand in making sure that panel was running. She was kind of running things. I tell her, talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, so that was going to be one of my highlights. So I'll just go ahead and jump off on it now. But speaking of much like what Katie was talking about with Jason Derulo, I'm really stoked to see a lot more celebrities getting into the game of comic books. We're seeing, I think, partially thanks to the pandemic, we've seen this resurgence of comic books. And the comic book industry is exploding. And so we see celebrities getting involved who want to tell stories in comic book form. And one of the biggest movie stars in the world, Keanu Reeves, has partnered with the publisher Boom Studios to publish his comic book that he co-wrote called Berserker. And it is about a man cursed with immortality, half god, half man, who does not die and is cursed with violence to fight evil throughout the world forevermore.
So it's autobiographical.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They had a panel in Hall H, and that's a big deal because obviously Hall H is the huge hall that all the big movies, all the big TV shows, the big video games, they all do their big panels at San Diego Comic-Con in Hall H. And I believe since San Diego Comic-Con went to the convention center, this is the first time an actual comic book has had a panel in Hall H, as opposed to a movie. There you go. There's the picture of the panel. And, it was great. Hall H was packed, as it always is. It's an enormous hall. It holds at least a couple thousand, I think. And
Hall H holds 6,500, my friend.
Yeah.
6,500 people, and that thing was packed. And Keanu Reeves was there to talk about his passion for the story. This is a guy, he can practically make any movie he wants to, and he's decided to go in and make a comic book. And that shows you how big comics are getting again. They're having a resurgence. And Keanu was just charming and funny. His team, the writers, the artists, the producers, the people working on the movie, the TV show, the anime, they have a deal with Netflix.
6,550 to be exact. I think Brianna would know.
Yes, Brianna would know. It was a huge deal. It was a huge deal for Boom Studios. It was a huge deal for San Diego Comic-Con. It was a huge deal for Keanu and his team. And I got to read the first issue of Berserker. I'm going to end that sentence there because I don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to say. I got to read it quite early on. And then it was like a while before it actually got released onto comic book shelves. And I didn't get back to it. And now after going to see the panel, they're doing a movie with Netflix. They're doing an anime series with Netflix. And I'm really stoked. And I want to go back and read the books now and they're also doing a novel. And the novel, the anime, and the movie are all going to be different parts of his life that aren't in the comic book. So it's not just a remake of the story in the comic book. These are all other aspects of the life of Berserker, or B, as they call him. So, but just to see one of the biggest movie stars in the world get really passionate about this comic book story and all the stories that he can tell with this character, and I was just handed this. This is volume 1 of Berserker. This is the first trade. It's a collection of the first 5 or 6 issues, I believe, and it is It is from Boom Studios again, and I think they're going to be coming out with Volume 2 pretty soon. I'm trying to find a good picture that'll give you an example of what's going on here. So you can see this is pretty violent, bloody stuff. They said Keanu, what was your inspiration for this? And he just said, one day I had this vision of a guy punching a hole through another guy's chest. And I knew I wanted to make a comic book about that. And this is issues 1 through 4. Issues 1 through 4, that is volume 1 of Berserker in trade format. For those of you who are uninitiated in the comic books game, you're probably aware that comic books come out single issues at a time, and it's an ongoing story. And then once they complete one story arc, which is usually 4 or 5 issues, Keanu was so nice and humble during the panel. He was, Brad, absolutely. Brad was sitting right in front of me at the panel, and he just gave so much credit to his team. He was such a lovely person, so charming, so kind, and just, what's going on with my collar? And, everything, you hear all these things about how Keanu Reeves is super nice and sweet and everything. And of course he was on stage in front of 6,500 people. And so, regardless, you kind of need to be that way on stage in front of people, but it really came off as genuine. I'm super excited to dive into this and read it. And you should be too. So yes, single issues, they come out, and then there's a story arc over 4, 5, 6 issues. And then after those are released and they're continuing to release more issues of it, they'll package together that single storyline into a trade. Those usually come out in paperback. Sometimes they come out in hardback. Sometimes they'll do a bigger collection in a hardback, and that'll be like 8, 10, 12 issues. But yeah. So volume 1, which is the first 4 issues of Berserker, is out in trade paperback right now. You can also pick up the ongoing series of Berserker at your local comic book shop, and be on the lookout on Netflix for the imminent movie and anime series. And Keanu Reeves, I think, is an immortal half god man who is an angel obsessed with violent movie making. And your wife tech called the panel. I didn't know if I was supposed to say that or not. My wife tech called the panel. So my wife was in the booth, like helping the tech, basically directing the tech team. Here's where you put up this slide. Here's where you put up that slide. Bring this image up, and that sort of thing. They're talking about this now. Now you put this image on the screen, and there's a huge screen behind them up in Hall H.
Gigantic.
So it's my wife is, in many ways, a producer by nature. She did a ton of theater in college and stage ran and directed and all this kind of stuff. So she was right in her wheelhouse. But huge props go out to my wife, Brianna Sarpy, who works for Boom Studios and had a huge hand in both the Hall H Berserker panel with Boom Studios and their booth presence on the floor, on the showroom floor of San Diego Comic-Con, which... not just me, I know I'm biased, but many people were saying it was one of the best, particularly comic book booths at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, it was a gorgeous setup.
Yeah.
The staff they had running it was super efficient. People would come up and be like, I've been to these other booths, Mattel or whoever, toy companies, film companies, whoever else had displays there. And they were like, this has been the most helpful, easy experience at the Boom booth. And we had signings. Well, I don't work for Boom, but they had signings at the Boom booth. These are 2 friends of the show, Cameron Gibo and Ciara Hanna, our Power Ranger friends. They did a signing at the Boom booth. Boom, of course, also publishes the Power Rangers comic book series. So in conjunction kind of with our panel, we had a ton of Rangers there. So a lot of them got the opportunity to go sign over at the Boom Studios booth, which was really cool. And did some of them also go over to the Hasbro booth? Did that ever happen?
Not the ones that we had, I don't think, but some of the ones from the current season.
Okay,
stopped in like earlier, like around like
And
Friday.
I'm sure we'll be talking
But,
about some Power Rangers in just a second.
Oh yeah!
Happy birthday, Cameron! By the way, it's his birthday today.
Oh, it's Cameron's birthday!
Yeah.
Hey, man, we do want to give a shout out. Oh, so I'm sorry. Brad was saying Coy Gendro, he did a great job moderating the Berserk. Is that how you say it? Berserker? Just Berserker?
Berserker.
Berserker panel for Boom Studios. Coy is a friend of the show, and Coy is a great facilitator of these panels. And
we've had him on here once or twice.
Yeah, he's a
super nerd. He
He's a
loves
super
this.
nerd.
He
He's
loves
a
it
talker,
all.
but he's such a good guy. Such a good.
He's got the gift of gab, man.
All right, I'm going to throw over to Derek.
Yeah,
Derek. Before I do, let me see if there's any comments. Yeah, Bree agrees, and Coy did a really great job.
Coy's like just really good at that sort of thing. Like I haven't seen him moderate a panel, but when we had him on the show and he was like doing all his knowledge, I know he's hosted a lot of stuff before. He's just like the right personality, all the right skills and everything. So I'm glad he was moderating a Hall H panel.
I do want to say hello to it's Halloween the Sister Trilogy. This is David Berg. He is an amazing. Oh wait, David, I don't have that. He sent me a mug of the Sister Trilogy. This guy he is an amazing artist, and he does a lot of artwork, especially during this time of year. Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and H2O is the Halloween Sister Trilogy. In my opinion, the best 3 of the entire series. Yep, we'll just go with that. And anyways, it's always good. We met him because he lives. Remind me, I know he doesn't live in California. He lives in another state, but we went to a screening that Anthony Massey put on of Halloween 1 and 2 on the big screen outdoor out at the Tiki Drive-In theaters, and it was really great. It was the drive-in, and we met David there. That was really cool. All right, Derek, I'm gonna throw over to you, and I do have 2 photos. Let me see if I can.
Nice.
So many photos. Let me get to yours. That you just tell me, Derek. Let's start hearing what you liked and tell. And I have the 2 photos.
First, let me just kind of introduce this. This is our first time taking small children with us, or any children, because we've got our 3 foster sons now. So we were really excited to be able to take them to Comic-Con. And we knew going in, we were going to be very limited on what we were able to do. We were like, all right, we're not going to have a real solid schedule. We're not going to feel like we just have to get to any certain panels, because chances are we're going to be late to stuff. We're going to have to just cut out a lot of the things that we would be doing if it was just the 2 of us going. So that said, that's exactly what happened. But if you've got any photos, Jim.
Well, this is okay. Let's start here.
Yeah,
which I love.
So, I can't show the faces of my foster kids online, but yeah, we were getting ready to leave, and I remembered that I had a Spider-Man suit hanging in the closet that actually belongs to a friend of mine that he told me I could consider a permanent loan. So I said, yes, thank you, Tom. And
Tom Holland is the friend, by the way.
Yes, that's exactly who I meant. Certainly. Tom Parham, our friend, has been on the show a few times, and he's got a lot of suits that he doesn't even wear, but he has people wear them when he gets teams together for things. Yeah. Anyway, I've got his Spidey suit now. And, when you've got a 2-year-old who follows you around and wants to copy a lot of things you do, he also wants to try on stuff. So he wanted to try on that Spider-Man mask, and I had to take a photo.
That's good.
We were on the bus going in that day, and he's like, that's Spider-Man? It was really cute. So this is our family cosplay.
I love this so much.
Yeah, we thought of this before, and this is what we were really planning to do. And it is really hard sometimes to find stuff for small children, but Etsy has an amazing collection, and I don't have the skills of Katie, so I can't make stuff. So I had to get stuff that other people made. So we got on Etsy and found Renaissance era stuff. And so the boys are mostly wearing Etsy clothes, and Laura and I are wearing things mostly bought from Amazon. But for those who are just listening, and for anyone who's looking and doesn't realize what we are, this is our Princess Bride family cosplay. I'm Miracle Max. My wife Laura is Valerie. The oldest of our boys, we made Fezzik, and the 2 younger ones, the twins, are Wesley and Inigo, which, makes sense. And it's unfortunate we can't show their faces online because they were so stinking adorable, but you probably get some idea from this photo.
I mean, you can tell who they are without any thought, which I love. So, I mean, you had told us, and I was like, are you doing Princess Bride? Even without seeing them on you guys, I was like, all right.
So. I'm glad you got it. I was sending little pictures of pieces of the elements. You just pieces, individual items as they came in the mail. So that was one of my big highlights, was just being able to do family cosplay. Another big highlight was walking the floor with 3 small children, because people keep stopping and saying hi, and the kids will react to stuff. They're looking around. The oldest was really excited to see dinosaurs. whether that was walking past a booth with models of dinosaurs from Jurassic Park or whether it was walking past inflatable T-Rex costumes. We did get some video that I don't have here because I would have to do some more editing to hide his face. But while I was dressed as Spider-Man, we found these T-Rexes that were done up to be like Spider-Man and Venom, and we all danced together. And now
I saw those dinosaurs.
Yes, they were great, and that's what he's been talking about ever since when we mentioned Comic-Con. He's like, "Dance dinosaur." It was awesome. So those are some of my big highlights. But a big low light was walking the floor with 3 small children, 2 of whom were in a giant twin stroller, because that is really hard to do. And small children, after a lot of stimulation, get really tired. Yeah. So that meant getting them all ready in the morning had us getting to the convention center somewhat late and leaving pretty early. The nice thing was they were able to nap in their strollers a bit. And, people would see us. And when we did our family cosplay, I don't know that we got anybody actually recognizing what we were. They just saw the fact that we had 3 boys under 3 and only commented on that, which, I'll take it. I don't know how long I've got to go here, but I've got stuff to show you that I bought on the floor too.
I do want to know that, but since we're talking about the best and the worst, there was something that happened that I never realized. I would like to address that. Could you bring that up?
So speaking of the strollers, I mentioned we probably weren't going to be able to do a lot of the panels we really wanted to. We might be able to hit like 1 a day, but we got in line for 1 panel on Friday. And while we were in line, Laura, Comic-Con for children is not for the faint of heart, perhaps the foolish. No, it was awesome and it was well worth it. But we got in line for 1 panel the first day that we were actually going to try and go to a panel. Yeah, it was on Thursday because we were able to go to Ben's panel at the library, which was a lot of fun. Then we went to the convention center, got in line for the 100 Years of Charles Schultz panel or something. And then while we were in line, someone came out and said, "Hey, just so you know, we don't allow any strollers in the room. There's stroller parking over there. I mean, if your stroller folds up, you can bring it in." But apparently there's this policy from a fire marshal regulation that we could not take strollers into the room. Now, we had like one of those umbrella strollers for the 2-year-old that folds up and would be really easy. But we have a giant twin stroller for our twins who are only 1-year-old. And then underneath all of that was all like the supplies. We had diaper bags and all kinds of stuff we had to carry to have with the kids. So we couldn't really park the strollers and carry 3 kids with 2 adults and also carry our stuff that we would need. So that basically meant no panels for us at all the whole convention, which I totally get why that policy is there. However, it would have been nice for us to know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of people don't try to do this. We saw some family, like 1 or 2 families with a baby.
That was weird.
And we saw like
we want solo Jim again.
No, go get off of me. That was an accident.
Why are we going to Jim?
That was an accident.
I was collecting things for show and tell.
Yeah.
But Derek, what were you saying?
No, I was saying like not a lot of families. We didn't see any families with as many children as young as ours. That's a rare thing anyway, but especially at Comic-Con. We saw families that with more kids than that, and we saw just 1 or 2 families with maybe a baby. But yeah, I think the reason why it's probably not as widely known is because not as many people are trying to take a big giant twin stroller into the panel.
Well, you said that when you texted us that day and let us know, hey, that we can't take strollers into the rooms. I had never heard that. And I was like, what? And it's like in all the years of us talking about here, I guess our perspective just wasn't towards that. And I'm glad I know that now. That's something we should always bring up, because when I went on the floor, I did see a lot of strollers. A lot.
On the floor, they're allowed. It's just not in the...
So
quarantine babies.
What'd you say?
Quarantine babies.
But
quarantine babies.
We're going to have a new baby boom.
Derek, when you brought that up, I was thinking back on like other Comic-Cons, and I was like, I haven't noticed strollers in the panels. Like, you think about it in retrospect, and you're like, you notice it, but you don't notice it until you're aware of it. But what's interesting to me is it seems like, and I get that there's the codes and stuff, but it just seems like they could find a way to make it work. Like, like if they have a certain section that was like, oh, this area is for strollers. But I know that with codes and all that stuff, there's only so much they can
They'd
do.
have to remove chairs.
But they do that for ADA. They remove chairs for ADA.
Yeah.
So,
but it's hard to accommodate for that much for just as big of a crowd as that. And we do get it. Maybe someday they'll figure something out about it. And that's one thing. For one, of course, none of us in this group have ever tried to take small children into Comic-Con before. And certainly Laura and I have never tried to take strollers in. So that's why it never would have occurred to us before we got there and someone told us. So I don't know if it's like readily available somewhere on the Comic-Con website. If not, it probably ought to be. So that's one little note that I would give them.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, I'm really glad that, we did this so we could learn, because we're doing this podcast so that we can talk to people. We can give advice out there about the convention. I'm sure there are some other people listening at some point who will want to try and take small children with them to Comic-Con. What else was I going to say about that? Yes, I do totally get why that policy's there. But if one other highlight is this year, they had a lot of places sectioned off, particularly downstairs at the convention center where you could just sit. And I don't know how recent that's been. It hasn't always been there, though, because so many years I've gone there and you have some of the volunteers, even sometimes being really rude in the past, telling you, no, don't sit down, don't even stop moving. They won't even let you stand for a second to try and figure out where you're going. They just make you keep walking, and keep everybody in a really terrible mood. This year, though, I was really glad to see sections placed where people could sit, and anybody who was a volunteer saying anything, asking you to move from one place to another, or even the people telling us we couldn't take strollers into the rooms, everyone was super friendly. I was really impressed with just how nice the volunteers and staff were. And I was really not expecting that, because you hear all these stories now how post-pandemic people just built up a lot of anger and frustration and rage and hopelessness, and they get out in the open again. And so many people in service industries and even at some really great theme parks have become just rude. But at San Diego Comic-Con, we did not see that. I might have seen one person at one of the front doors yelling at people about masks once, but for the most part, that's maybe one person. I might even be misremembering it, and I don't even have the context. Maybe people were rude to her first. But
that's also the worst and hardest spot to be.
It is, because you also got to yell to be heard sometimes.
Coming from someone who worked in retail and in the heat of the pandemic, it is the hardest thing to do. So, because you're the one who everybody yells at, the one people get upset with. So,
And everybody was so understanding. People were sitting, because there's kind of a nice corridor space at the doors going into the exhibit hall, because not all those doors are open during the day, but they have to clear that space out in case there's an emergency and they have to open all of them. You can't have people just sitting in that walkway. But anytime people were sitting there, people would, if they came over to say, hey, I'm really sorry, but this is just, it's just a fire hazard to have people sitting here in case we need to open the doors in an emergency. They were really gentle in explaining it. It was very understanding, very empathetic. When people told us we couldn't take strollers in, they were almost apologetic about it. And on preview night, when we went to get our badges, people were really supportive and understanding with the fact that we had these kids who were getting restless and wanting to run around all over the place. And when we found out, for the pro badge was actually a different line, even though people were going through where the other sign was, that was a little bit crazy. But still, people came to us, people were coming through the line trying to say, hey, is anybody pro reg or press? And they were checking the stuff for you. And I could not find a confirmation email with anything with a barcode. I was really getting frustrated, but they were super patient with me. They're like, hey, it's okay. When your wife gets back from changing that diaper that you were just telling us about, you guys can go over here. And when we went over there, eventually somebody else was like, hey, you've got all these kids. This line over here is shorter. Let me help you get over here past through this crowd. People were just super accommodating. And in some ways I do get used to that, because people get pretty understanding when you have small children, especially if they know that you're a foster family. But in this case, people didn't know all that. They just saw we had small children and were super nice. And even when they were also just being nice to other people. And that's one of the things I do love about Comic-Con, is when you just meet people who are there to celebrate the things we love and end up making friends. So it was really awesome to see so many people who have the hard job to just being nice to people. So shout out to all of you.
I love it. And Derek, I'm so glad you guys went. I met Derek at Comic-Con, and I was so glad that he showed up. That you guys were able to go this year. That made me really happy, because I was wondering, because I know it is a challenge with so many so many kids in tow, but I'm so glad you guys went. All right, Derek, real quick, we're going to throw it over to Ben in just a second here, but I would love to see you set, or you know what? You guys want to, let's save to the very end of the show the stuff that we got.
Okay.
We'll save to the answer. All right. Who's
that
the,
was
okay.
fun too, the Star Trek pop-up that we,
Yeah.
This is where we did get to see Derek.
And this is me trying to make a Vulcan face wearing my Dadalorian t-shirt.
I loved it.
But for anybody who's just listening, there's a giant hand in the background doing the Vulcan salute. So we're all doing that too. Our friend Jeff is kind of struggling with it, but
yeah, he doesn't have his fingers together.
They had Star Trek themed drinks and a lot of cool stuff that you could buy there. I love the T-shirts of the Klingon metal band.
Yep.
I like that the offsites this year were like, what should we add? Alcohol. Sensing a theme. It's been a rough few years. Let's give them some alcohol.
Derek, did you mention this is this was one of my favorite things when we all got to go to the 10 Forward was next door, which none of us really got to experience, but they had the Starfleet beer garden, which was amazing.
Yeah,
not just because it was great beer.
I'm glad you brought it up because that was one of my favorite moments of the con was just spending that time there with you guys.
I loved it, and it was good because Carrie, I didn't think we'd ever do it, and I think it is up on our Instagram. I know it's not Carrie's. She got us all to do one of those TikTok,
your TikTok dance. Yeah,
hands down something. We were not skilled at it at all. Carrie was good.
And roll.
I forgot.
I will never unsee that video. You guys have replaced Ryan's dancing video in my brain. So,
hey, Derek, I do want to throw this out. Lily said, "Wait."
Oh.
Hey, Cheeseman, we do got to get our TikTok on there, the Konkai dance. I do love the fact that Lily said, hey, thank you, Derek, for your comment about volunteers and calling them out this year. She was a volunteer this year. That's very cool.
That's great. Thank you, Lily. It was just, it really helped make things a better experience.
Yep. And Brad had a good point, and we are going to start rushing here. The Star Trek pop-up was one of the many things that he passed by in a rush and said, I got to come back to that. There is just no way to see anything anymore. True.
Yeah. I wanted to go to the
everything.
FX thing because I heard it was really great at night, and then I ended up going to the concert instead, so I just wasn't able to get to it.
Yeah.
I was able to go to the FX thing as a correspondent with that hashtag show. So you can, I don't know if it's up yet, but we did do a video on the FX walkthrough that featured What We Do in the Shadows, Little Demon, and
American Horror Stories.
American Horror Stories. That was fun. So that video should be up on that hashtag show's website and social medias, if it's not already, pretty soon.
Cool.
Really quick for me, I'll just go through a couple things because I think I'm going to hit on one big thing that we want to talk about, obviously. Yes. For me, one of the highlights was just walking the con floor again. You know, I took 2 days to cover every square inch of that convention center hall and just the main floor. And then there was a little bit kind of upstairs on the next level and a couple other places. But I'm the kind of guy, I call it museum walking. There's two types of walking in our family, me and Brianna. There's museum legs and there's Disney legs. Museum legs is I take about 10 minutes to go 10 feet, maybe longer. Disney legs is when you're power walking. So Brianna hates it when I do museum legs because she can't hold still that long. So fortunately, she was working the whole time, and I just got to go around with my buddy Cherry. And we just walked and we looked at every booth and what they were selling and who was selling, what wares they had. And, everything from brand new, original art, jewelry to the vintage, toys from the 90s, which I bought a few. And I'll show those later. And so just being back on a convention floor and wearing a mask in the convention center, Brianna and I got COVID after Star Wars Celebration. We didn't really wear masks at Star Wars Celebration. They weren't really enforcing the mask policy that stringently. So we learned our lesson and we said, okay, San Diego, we're wearing masks the whole time. we have been COVID free this entire time, and I feel very strongly it's a testament to the act of wearing a mask in a large public setting like that.
And there's been no reported outbreaks from San Diego yet. I was checked.
Everybody was super. From what I saw, most people kept their masks on, and I was very surprised because WonderCon was good, but not that good. So I was actually pretty happy with seeing that everybody seemed just like, I don't want this to get canceled again.
Right.
Let's do what we can to keep everybody happy and safe. Like,
unless they were taking pictures and a mask was not part of their costume, you know, or they were in the act of eating.
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty well masked up at San Diego Comic-Con. I was really impressed because I thought that might be an issue because, you know, a lot of people don't like it, and I don't blame you. I don't like
it.
I don't like wearing a mask.
I hate it, but I did it. You know, you do what you don't want to do. My mama's sick.
Yeah,
she doesn't wear a mask. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
And I had fun with it too because I had a mask that said "Spaceballs," the face mask on it. I got a lot of compliments on that. That was a lot of fun. But just being back on a con floor and seeing everything there is to see on a con floor, I didn't really get to any panels. I had a whole list of panels I wanted to go to. The only panel I got to see was the panel right before our Power Ranger panel, which was the Mecha Cookie Monster panel, and they had Elmo and Cookie Monster live on the panel with their puppeteers, just like talking to him. That was something I didn't realize I needed in my life, was to see.
That is one panel they should have allowed strollers into.
Right? But that is something I didn't realize I needed in my life, and I'm so glad I got to see.
I do want to show
Elmo and Cookie Monster in person. I didn't know the other character.
I'm gonna do this real quick. Wait.
Oh no!
There's Ben in his Spaceballs mask. Luke and my buddy Greg. Oops, Greg does not want to be on camera. And then there's me.
Oops, Greg, his face was covered. It's okay.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, and then the other big highlight for me, apart from just being back at Comic-Con and in San Diego and seeing all the people doing their thing, was, of course, the Conguy.com Power Rangers panel, which was flipping nuts, people.
Yes.
It was.
Luke, you got pictures,
crazy.
I'm hoping. Yeah.
Oh man. And so this is even before. So we started off, you can see there's 9 Power Rangers on our panel, and then we got a surprise 10th Power Ranger who showed up. The one and only Walter Jones, the original Black Ranger, showed up at about 10 minutes into the panel as a surprise guest, and we had an absolute blast. But it was also for having 10 people on the panel and a moderator, which was me. It went pretty smoothly. Like everybody was having a good time. Nobody was like we didn't have just a bunch of cacophony of people talking over each other. And then we brought up people to ask questions, and I think everybody had a pretty good time. It was just an opportunity to be in the same room with the Rangers for everybody who came, and to kind of see their personalities come through and ask them questions about, look at that room. Look at how many people we had at this panel.
It was packed.
This was our first in-person panel at San Diego Comic-Con, the granddaddy of them all. You can have your New York Comic-Con. I'd love to go there someday. I've never been, but San Diego is where it's at for me.
How many people did that room fit, Jim?
Well, I think the room was at 500. Right as we started, I remember the lady, I wish I remembered her name. She came up to me, she was counting, and we started, she goes, wow, you guys are starting with 329. That's good. And then we filled it up. So I think we packed it out. We may have been a couple under 500. Hey, Luke, do you have a clip from the panel?
Yeah, I do. I have
Ben, show a clip?
Walter came in.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was going to say, because I had a video for that too. I just forgot to send it in.
All right.
Let's jump in.
Roll
that beautiful.
I swear to God. How did he get younger?
Alice and Robert have been unseated as the most legendary Rangers. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the original Black Ranger.
Hey, now there's 10 of us like Dino Shark.
And he keeps getting younger. He's most legendary and gets younger.
No.
Somebody told me there ain't no party like a Power Ranger party because a Power Ranger party don't stop.
I love it so much.
I had the best view because I saw Walter come in. I was in the back row because I was sitting like a little bit in the middle of a row for the panel. And then this family came in and was sitting on the aisle at the very back row. And I was like, I don't need a good seat. I'm going to like let other people sit there. And then I was like, you know what? Do you guys want to scoot over? It doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm here. We're doing the panel. Like, oh no, it's fine. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna be by the exit so I can get up every once in a while and take a picture or whatnot. So then they moved in, and there was this one little boy who was like standing on his chair trying to see, and specifically Walter. And you could tell that he was like, oh my goodness, that is the original Black Ranger. And the look on his face and how special it was for him to see it was one of my favorite moments that I don't actually think I told you guys about until just now.
That's
and
awesome.
I was just like, this kid is so excited. And he went to go ask a question, but he got there too late, so he didn't get to ask his question. But I saw him be like, Mom, should I ask a question? And I was like, oh, this kid is everything. This is why we did it. So
we got to give thanks to Brad, who helped make that moment possible. And we were able to, you know what's cool is we had the panel lockdown. I do want to hear Ben's perspective on this panel in just a second, but we had the panel lockdown, and it was kind of growing by this. And there was a point where like, we got to stop. And like what Ben said, because if it gets too big, it just gets, and Ben, you did a masterful job with the panel. I'm just going to tell you. Because I told Luke, I said, I think it's too big. Ben's going to have such a hard time because it's so many. But once Walter heard there was a Power Ranger panel, and he found out that we were the guys doing it. He goes, why am I not invited? We're like, what do you mean? You're going to be there. So what was cool is when he showed up a little bit late, and we saw the text. He's like, I'm coming. So I was looking for him, and I went outside, and the volunteer, the best volunteers. But at this moment, I was like, they're like, you can't go in right now. They're busy. And I'm like, no, he's coming with me. He's coming. But it was kind of cool. It was fantastic. Ben, give me your perspective on the panel, man.
I mean, it's been a surreal experience since we started doing this Power Ranger stuff with the Con Guy, just because I grew up on the original. And that was one thing I was hoping, I was 9 years old when Power Rangers came out. I think I was just about to turn 9. So I was technically 8. And then I turned 9, and for me, it's always been how early on, how legendary of a Ranger can we get to come to one of these things? And so for me to get Walter to come up there, and first of all, you see this guy up close, you think he's 27 years old.
I know, right?
He looks fantastic. He's got to be in his late 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
Like.
Because they started in 92.
30. What?
They started filming in 92.
Yeah, he was on the show 30 years ago. So, and he was, he had to have been at least mid to late teens at the youngest. Yeah. So, he looks fantastic. He was so full of energy. But the crowd, the Rangers themselves, everybody there was just excited to be there celebrating Power Rangers and talking about Power Rangers and the huge impact that it's had on everybody's lives and on our entertainment culture as a whole. And so for me, it was just a joy to be up there. And, I love being on stage. I do stand up, I do live theater. Brad says, I was honestly scared to ask Walter at first, thinking he would be mad or not want to go. And he was like, I want to come. He's so nice.
Yeah.
I think he meant to write nice twice. I think Walter Jones is nice.
He's 51, by the way.
He's 51.
He's 51.
Wow. November 30th,
1970. When he filmed it.
He looks half that age.
Yeah, for sure.
But Ben, you were saying about like you do comedy and
yeah, I can handle myself up on stage. I do live theater. I do comedy. I do all kinds of stuff in front of crowds. And so that part, I wasn't, that wasn't a big deal to me to be up on stage, sharing it with other people who have been on bigger stages than I have. And so I wasn't nervous. I was just super excited and super stoked to be up there with all these people celebrating this thing, from the people sitting there watching and the people on stage who were involved with it, celebrating this thing that's affected all of us over the years in a positive way. And so that was just a delight and a highlight for me for San Diego Comic-Con. And the fact that it was our little podcast that could, our first panel at the granddaddy of them all, San Diego Comic-Con, in person. I mean, we did the digital ones, we did the online panels. That was whatever, you know, like that's like, oh, here's a substitute Comic-Con. This was the real deal, and we were there
And
as
it was
presenters.
And
amazing.
to be able to have someone like Walter show up at our first Comic-Con, I think also was one of those, like, we really did make an appearance. Wow, I cannot talk right now.
And even apart from that, we've been talking a lot about Walter, but the other 9 Rangers that were there, I mean, they're huge across the spectrum of the Rangers TV series over the years.
Can we tell, like, and I don't want to like lose the fact, Cameron Gibo and Sierra Harrel, who are 2 of the first ones that we ever worked with, they're 2 of the best. They're amazing, and we went out for drinks afterwards with Sierra after the panel.
And Roger Velasco.
And Roger, they kept getting stopped everywhere they were at, and it was just like, these guys are big deals. It's really cool. It is really cool. And Cameron,
yeah, Dobby came too for a little bit as well.
Dobby, we hung out with Dobby for a bit afterwards.
Emily and I met the one from New Zealand.
Is that Dwayne?
Yeah, we met Dwayne. I think the day before on the floor, because we saw him signing, and we were like, oh, like, you're doing the panel with us tomorrow, and he's like, oh, really? Like, and I was like talking to him, and just such a place I never thought I would be. Like, oh yeah, like knowing all these Power Rangers, but like it was really cool. We also met Walter the day before, and that's why Emily texted you, was like, has anybody talked to Walter? Because he loves this stuff, and it's just fun to like be able to be part of that journey with them.
And I'm just gonna tell you, yes, we are this year. Was so amazing, but we are looking forward to the 30 years of Power Rangers next year, guys. Every single one of these Rangers was talking about it. They can't wait to come back. And but we can't wait till next year. But it's going to be great. But this year is great. And just as an announcement, next week, the full panel, we're going to put it online. You'll get to see Ben and all the Power Rangers. It's going to be great. So next Monday, right here on the Con Guy channel, and also on our partners with that hashtag show. So that's going to make sure you guys tune in, because we can't talk about it enough. It was just so spectacular. And I'm going to say, my best moment of this Comic-Con and of many Comic-Cons was that panel. It just, we try so hard on this. We don't make very much money, maybe a penny every 2 weeks, but not that we don't make that much. But I'm just saying, it's all worth it when you experience something like that and you see the people lining up. And after the panel was over, the Power Rangers were mobbed, and they all went down, and a bunch of them went right down to the booth, and they were signing again. And just everybody just loved them. It's kind of cool to bring joy into the lives of young and old alike. Anyways, Ben,
a very class act group of people. They were all so kind, so generous with their time, so just excited to be there. And it made, I was already excited to be there, but it made me even more excited to be there, to know that they were excited to be there.
And can we just say for a second, we don't do it. Luke Cheeseman, let's congratulate. Luke is the one who pulled that panel together and just went through so many hoops, not only organizing that, but working with, like, Ben's lovely wife, Bree, to get all the signing set up at the Boom booth, and also our partners over at Power Morphicon booth. Thank you, Cheeseman. You really made a great panel. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Me and Bree were the Ranger Wranglers.
Yes, you guys were. All right, guys, we're going to please indulge us as we kind of finish out. We'll try to finish in the next 10 or such minutes here. All right, Ben, what else do you got for us?
Oh, man. That pretty much hits it. The Dungeons & Dragons thing was awesome. And then just like running into people at the con, getting drinks in the evening at the hotel bar and meeting people. Bree and I were such old people that we were just so tired by the end of the day. We just stayed at our own hotel's bar and hung out with people there. I didn't go out and hang out with like Jim and Luke, which I felt really bad about.
No, Ben, we almost made it to you. After the Power Rangers panel, we had them with us, and they're kind of slow moving. And you told us where you guys were at, and they were stopping at this place and this, and we almost got there. And as soon as we almost got there, you're like, we're going to bed. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was hard to, like Luke said, Wranglers. You had to move it, and they kept getting stopped for autographs and stuff. So,
hey, man, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have highlights, or should we jump into what we got?
Well, I do have highlights, but
Do it.
mine are going to be real quick. But Luke, you've got a bunch of pictures, and and I got to show Brad's party pics. I'm going to walk us through those. But
Let's
how
fly
about we?
through 'em.
Like,
yeah, just go to the Brad party pics.
let me do the Brad's. I don't even. Oh wait, I do to say this. Me and Brad. I'm not going to go into much detail, but one low light was hanging out with Jim at the Burton Bash. Just kidding. That was a fun night. Brad, I'm going to out him a little bit here. He is very controlled. He never drinks a lot, but this return to Comic-Con was an emotional one for Brad for a number of different reasons. And that was a night. That's all I'm going to say. That was a night. That was a long night, but Brad, I loved hanging out with you that night. That was so awesome. All right, I'm going to go through Brad's party picks. Let me pull up because Brad has written up exactly who it is we are looking at, and let's do this right here. So these are Brad's party picks, and give me
like all of them, not one specific party, like all of his party.
Yeah, this is his
Okay.
party picks. He gave us a sampling from a bunch of different parties. So let me start right here. This is Julie Plec in the cast of Vampire Academy at the Entertainment Weekly party. Julie Plec is the showrunner producer responsible for many of the vampire shows that have been on TV lately that a lot of you guys have probably seen. This right here, Zach Grazer and Asher Angel of Shazam.
Yeah.
And they are there with Coy Jandreau, who he led the Berserker panel. That's who we were talking about. Here, these are the Stranger Things kids. Do you remember their names, Luke, since you interviewed them?
Oh gosh, it was on the video we said earlier.
All right.
Kristen, I remember that.
Yep. This is Richard Harmon and Alex Ponovic at Bernie's. Which part? I don't know. I think I remember seeing them, so I think this was at the Burton party. No.
Yeah, I think it was the Burton one.
The Burton party, yes. This right here, two of the Power Rangers, Peter and Brennan. This was at the Burton party. This was awesome.
I didn't actually get to meet Peter.
Oh, yeah?
No, I didn't meet him.
Yeah, this is the first time
he's
Peter was
really
on a
nice.
panel with us, and Brennan, he's one of our buddies. We love Brennan to death. Yeah, Brad said that was the Burton party. This right here, Paul Wesley and Julie Plec at the Entertainment Weekly party. Katie, you know Paul Wesley, right?
Yeah, he was in Vampire Diaries.
And who's
I
watching
know.
the-
I did not know he was in Star Trek. I found that out before.
He's
Comic-Con.
Captain Kirk, guys. This is the new
Yeah,
Captain Kirk. All right.
I found that out when I saw the footage from the handprint ceremony.
Which is cool because here, Paul Wesley and Ethan Peck, both from the Star Trek universe. This is from the Entertainment Weekly party. This right here is from the Entertainment Weekly party, Joy and Matt Liefeld. Ben, who is Matt Liefeld?
Rob Liefeld. He's the
I
creator
know,
of
okay, I
Deadpool.
just read that wrong. Yeah, it's Rob Liefeld.
He's the
Who
creator of
is?
Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool. All right, and this right here, Jake Austin Walker and Lisette Oliveira from the new National Treasure Edge of History at the Entertainment Weekly party. This National Treasure show is a new show that was announced. They had a panel. It's going to be on Disney Plus. Almost done here, guys. Harvey Gillian, Zach and Coy. Oh, that's Katie. Look who's here.
Yeah, I know. I see it.
It's your boy Zach Levi.
It's
And
Zach Levi
Harvey,
and sorry.
Harvey plays Guillermo on What We Do in the Shadows.
I was gonna say he
Yes.
looks familiar.
Okay.
I couldn't remember who it was.
Yes.
Yep, this is the What We Do in the Shadows party, and I'm sorry if I'm yelling into my this Hollywood Reporter and What We Do in the Shadows had their own party. All right, almost done here, guys. This is Harvey again, and then as Brad calls him, some guy, and that is Aisha Tyler. This is at the Hollywood Reporter What We Do in the Shadows party. This right here, Casper Van Dien and Walter, our own Power Ranger, at the IMDb boat party. By the way, Brad took all these pictures. This is kind of cool. Aramis Knight of Ms. Marvel and one of his friends at the IMDb boat party.
Nice.
And then, yeah, he was Simu from
Simu Liu.
Yes, from
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
My friend
He was-
met him, and I
Song.
literally would have cried.
I didn't even know he was
would
in
have cried.
town.
He was at the Funko panel. He was in the Funko panel.
Oh, that's right. So this is at the EW party. And then finally, this is Alex Ponovic, Chantel Von Santine, and Victor Webster. This is at the Entertainment Weekly party. Thank you, Brad, for those pictures. That was so cool. It's cool seeing those. Brad has a way of getting into all the parties. Brad's a celebrity photographer, and he always helps us out. Okay, real quick. I'm going to give my things that I loved real quick, and then Luke, if you can take us through those pictures. Mine, you can't top the Power Rangers party. That was fantastic. I do have a picture of one of the things that was one of my favorite. My favorite things were a little bit different. This right here is one of my favorite things. It was the view out of my hotel room this year. I have never in my life enjoyed Comic-Con like I did this year, and it's because I could go back to the hotel and rest. Because
it's nice staying there, isn't it? Yeah.
It is fantastic.
Unlike Katie, who had to walk 1.2 miles every time.
I'm sorry. Our Power Ranger, Luke, who was it that we had to keep? One of the Power Rangers had to keep walking a couple miles every day, and we just felt so bad because we couldn't.
Oh, poor Allison. Yeah.
Allison, we couldn't get her closer.
I'm sad for her, but we also did the same thing with all our strollers. So.
Oh, jeez. William Shatner was one of my highlights of the Comic-Con. Two more things. The Black Panther trailer that dropped during the Marvel panel. Have you guys all seen it?
Yeah.
No.
It is hard not to just have tears in your eyes when you're watching that thing, because how do they deal with the death of Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa, the Black Panther, and where are they going from there? The appearance of Nemo, from Atlantis, the Lord of Atlantis, coming to be the villain was an amazing thing. And I just love that trailer. I watched it multiple times that day. And it was so weird. I find myself, the older I get choked up at strange times. But I was describing the trailer, and I said, and I remember describing it, and I got choked up when I said, and at the end of the trailer, because T'Challa's dead, they don't know who's going to rise up. And you see the hand of a Black Panther right at the end of the trailer. And I choked up. It's like, they're replacing him. Somebody is stepping up. But as it should be, we get a new Black Panther. Isn't just a person, but T'Challa just was so great. I mean, Chadwick Boseman was so great and so humble, and I'm so looking forward to that. All right, and my favorite
Namor,
Yeah,
by the way, Jim.
I was going to say you meant Namor.
You said Nemo. It's Namor.
You're thinking like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I think.
Or Finding Nemo.
I'm Finding Nemo because I am Dory because I forget everything.
I was like
All
Namor.
right.
There you
in
go.
the Black Panther trailer. That's what he was. Yeah.
It was Namor, who as a kid was one of my favorite characters. All right. And my favorite panel and one of my favorite moments, and I was telling somebody about this and I got choked up the other night, so I'm not going to get choked up now. I love Charles Schultz. I love Charlie Brown, and the 100 Years of Charlie Brown panel was the best. And it hit me right there. And Luke's going to show a picture in a second. There was a Charles Schultz, Charlie Brown, a pop-up across the street, an art gallery celebrating Franklin, who was introduced into the comics at a time. Franklin was introduced after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and Charles Schultz introduced him into comics under the threat of the comics editors and all these people.
Is it showing up?
Yeah, it's there. Or it's there right now.
Okay, I'm not seeing it for some
It's at and people said, we're not going to carry your comic anymore. And Charles Schultz goes, all right, who cares? We're putting them in. Either you carry my comic or you cancel me. Thank goodness for him. Thank goodness for Franklin, who was a cool character. And to top it off, after the stress of this past year, I love Charlie Brown so much. And I walked out to my car one day with my buddy, and I was all kind of stressed out, like carrying all the stuff. And I found a stuffed Charlie Brown in the seatbelt in my front car. Thank you, Cheeseman. He knew that I needed that. No drink, nothing can do the heart good like a stuffed Charlie Brown. I'm just going to tell you, my favorite moment of the con was that Charlie Brown panel, and then finding that in my front seat. It just made my day. So this was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. If I had to say what I didn't like, the fact that there was no Warner Brothers booth, that there was nothing on Wednesday night. I do have the Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown every day.
I am always looking like Charlie Brown. One thing that I was kind of bummed about was a lot of the restaurants, the times where they were supposed to be open, you'd show up and they had been closed for an hour already. It was hard, and I think it's because there's a worker shortage right now. But especially like, what was that? The one we always go to, Cheeseman, the Baja Mexican. Rock and Baja. I love that restaurant. And we show up on Thursday night or Wednesday night, and they had closed like at 8. Like, what
they close early on the weekdays.
Yeah, but then they said, but we promise we'll be open till 10 tomorrow. We show up at 8. Oh yeah, we're closed again. Like, we finally got in. Love that place. I know they were having problems staffing it, so Yep, me and you, Lily, we love peanuts, so that's my thing. All right. So real quick, Luke, do we want to? You want to go through the pictures you got, or do we want to share?
I know we need to get kind of moving. I think I already kind of shared. I just kind of threw stuff up if we
Well,
want
no,
to share.
You got some cool pictures I do want to share. I want you to share real quick.
I'll just be
Go
quick then.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shag did a thing on the floor, which Shag has done a lot of stuff in Palm Springs, and I actually went up and talked to him, and
I love
That's
the
awesome.
Shag store.
he was
Love
happy to
the
be
Shag
there, and he
store.
did a lot of like fandom type art. And at one of the parties, does someone know who this was? He's kind of like a big on something.
Oh, and he's a big producer for
Well, that's my friend Katie in the background, but other than that,
Oh yeah.
that's not our Katie. It's a
I
different
know.
Katie.
I know. I know.
No.
What?
But Luke, what that guy did? He gave out $10,000 production deal that night to the best cosplay, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Speaking of cosplay, Batman, Emma Fife.
That's Emma Fife right there, guys.
Oh wow.
Yep.
This Voodoo Ranger ship was a lot of fun. We went on this with Thomas.
But the thing that's cool about the Voodoo Ranger, Luke, that they had a ship back there raising money. All the money went to help vets, right?
Yes, it did.
And it helped in a very unique way. The money, there's a vets who are suffering from PTSD. A lot of them are gamers. There's Thomas, and we got on there. And if you buy a beer or two, all the money goes to support bringing these vets to a special gaming house in Van Nuys where they will put them up for the week and experience a kind of therapy that's just gaming related. I think it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And they gave Thomas a free beer since he was a veteran.
He's a veteran, yep.
Oh, nice.
I love it. Guys, do you recognize the guy right in the middle?
The tall one or the short one?
That's Rod Roddenberry, the son of Gene Roddenberry. We will be posting this interview that Thomas and we were able to conduct this week. So we did an interview with him, a good interview talking about the Roddenberry Foundation and everything that's happening. So it's fantastic.
Just a couple more little cosplay shots. We got Loki and Thor. And then this was a cool panel, the 1982 panel, because they're talking about this documentary and
the movies of 1982, brothers.
Yeah, so they showed exclusive clips from that, and we're hoping to maybe connect with them to kind of have them on to talk about this documentary. And
So that's Scott Mance. He's the facilitator. Yeah, well, like Luke said, they have a documentary coming out talking about the best geek year ever, 1982, 40 years ago. That's kind of why we have these T-shirts, celebrating the summer of 82, 40 years ago. All right. I love this cosplay.
Such a good cosplay of the birds.
Yeah.
A nice little Vecna out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so we're like, for those of you who are just listening, let's make sure we describe it. That's Vecna, Vecna character. That's very cool. Batman and Robin. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the animated series Robin and the Christian Bale Batman, it looks like. Is that the Christian Bale one?
I think it's from the video games.
Okay.
I think.
This was fun. The Austin Powers girls here.
The Austin Powers characters who are all kinds of inappropriate, but it's very funny. Bye, Ben.
And this was interesting. They did a little Jaws law thing with the Alex Kittner case, like a fictional court hearing, which was at 7:00. And this was one of the ones that was actually in the Marriott. So that was kind of an interesting panel to be at.
Yep.
Of course, our little party pics out with Derek on the town.
It's awesome.
With Greg and Swingle.
Wait. Go back. That night, Bernie hosted a cosplay karaoke up at at one of these places. I can't say it was a great time, but it was fun just getting up there. And Bernie, I appreciate Bernie trying everything he can to keep some nightlife happening. Keep going.
Here's some of the Power Rangers at the Power Morphicon booth. And then you never know who you'll randomly run into at bars. So this is Brian. Is this Brian Posen?
I
Ben would know, but
look,
I'm pretty sure that's him there.
Wait, Carrie, fun time. Yeah, Carrie, good to see you.
This is Jeff at the Top Gun bar,
dressed as Tom Cruise at the Top Gun bar. By the way, they fit.
Is that his jumpsuit? Was he dressed like that for the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the ladies loved it.
Wait,
and this is our friend David Boer.
David Booher, who is a very accomplished comic book artist right now, and he was busy the whole weekend signing. Katie, you went and got something signed by him, I think, right?
No, not this time. I saw him at WonderCon. I didn't see him at Comic-Con.
He's got Kanto, whatever.
My book of his is already signed. I bought it, and it was signed when I bought it.
And David was so fun. He was so fun. Anything else, Cheeseman?
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, I think Ben had to jump off. I hate it.
I was like, we're going late, guys. We gotta we gotta cut it.
All right. Katie, do you have anything you want to share as far as what you got? And this will
I can go fast, but because we're really hitting a lot of time here. So I spent like 2 hours at Artist Alley on Saturday, basically going down all of Artist Alley because I like to do Artist Alley now. This one is by artist named Brianna Garcia. I finally got a Spider-Gwen print, which I absolutely love because it has like this rocker edge to it. She's unmasked. I love her little jacket she's got on there and her Converse shoes there. And I don't have any Spider-Gwen art because now I have so much art I have to find characters I don't have so that it can get diversity. And then this one is by an artist that says her name's Carlations. She did these beautiful burlesque. It's like a lot of burlesque art, but this one, if you can see it, it's shiny. So she puts like shiny stuff in it. But this is the Wednesday Addams one, and they were like 3 for $50 or something. So then this one. Poison Ivy, and then I've got my Hufflepuff because I've never seen a Hufflepuff art, so I was like, I need that. But yeah, she does like a very boudoir type pictures and gorgeous. I joined. I said this to Cheeseman because I know he collects them. I actually saw this as a Comic-Con exclusive. It is a Spider-Gwen Hallmark ornament by Pop Minded. And it's my first Hallmark ornament. So I'm really excited to put this on my tree this year. But it was a con exclusive. Apparently,
you won't be able to stop.
Apparently, it's selling for like $60 now on the internet, or even during the con it was, according to what someone told me. But yeah, and then I got like a bunch of more patches for the Con Rangers, which is what my friend's company that I've talked about on the show for more con achievements. Their booth was always packed. They actually had to do a ticket system for their exclusives, which is awesome since it is a small business. So I was really happy for them because it was always busy every time I went. But got to see my friend, got to spend about $70 on more of those badges. So can't wait to put those on my jacket to show later. So yeah, I didn't buy a lot. Oh, I have a lot of Funkos, but we're not going to show those. So you are muted, Jim.
Jim, you're muted.
Funko was awesome. No, the Funko part on the floor of the convention, they took over and made like a town on their part of the floor this year. It was pretty cool. All right, we do need to zoom out of here, Derek. Tell us what you got very quickly.
Okay, so first off, my wife and I are starting D&D. I've done like 2 demos at Comic-Con in years past and never actually gotten into the game. And we have talked about it, and now we finally are. And so we bought some dice. We went to the Kraken dice booth, but there's a tradition in D&D that you can't buy your first set of dice. They have to be given to you, so they gave us each a set first. Then we bought these nifty ones that are metallic, they're metal, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, and then, we got this cool rolling thing. I honestly don't know what you call it.
The rolling mat? Yeah.
Thanks. We went upstairs to where they were doing the game demos and stuff. Kraken Dice had a little setup there, and Lara rolled this and got the Kraken, which replaces the 20, just on her first roll.
Yeah.
And we got the die for free, which was nice.
Because she rolled a nat 20?
Yeah, and then I think we got like the die to keep, and then got like a coupon to take down.
Nice. I went to that booth. They had some really cool dice.
They had some really nice ones. They had like some perfectly balanced ones that were.
Did you see the big? Was that the one that had the big, massive ones?
Maybe.
You see that booth?
There were some other booths that had dice too.
Yeah, there was a booth that had a D20 that was like this big, and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
That sounds familiar. The thing is, I didn't get to go in there and shop. Like I was taking care of the boys across the little way while Lara went in. We also went to the Christian Comic Arts Society booth and got the Ultimate Bible Character Guide, which is full of like. We got the Action Bible before. Which is like basically a graphic novel version of the whole Bible. This one is more an encyclopedia of all the characters in the Bible.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Nicodemus and Nimrod.
But still like a comic book flair. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really quite cool. And then another really fun find that I was excited about, we walked by one of these independent author booths, and I saw this book, Mothman Baby. If you don't know what Mothman is, it is a cryptid that was sighted in West Virginia in the 60s. The movie The Mothman Prophecy, starring Richard Gere, is loosely based on those events. But this is actually a kid's book. It's got all these flaps, and near the front page is a sign for Point Pleasant, which is where it happened. And our 2-year-old already loves this book. He's been requesting it a lot, and he remembers parts of it. And I'll open it up. We'll be following along, and he'll say the words with me like he does with his favorite books. It's great.
Nice.
Training him early.
Cool. By the way, Katie, Carrie says very good finds.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
Luke.
happy with them.
Okay, mine are real quick. I just got comic books, guys. Comic books, and I'm happy about it. I got some T-shirts. Cheeseman, take us out with what you got.
You're muted, by the way.
There we go.
I'm muted. Jim likes to always get me at like the most uncomfortable time where I'm like looking down. Or
I'm guessing Luke
something.
and Ben probably spent the most money.
Oh, I got to tell you guys real quick.
yeah.
Real quick. Ben had to jump off. The dogs were going crazy. He says he'll share next time. All right, go ahead, Luke.
Well, we showed this before on the show, so I had to cave and, of course, get the Jaws plush at the factory entertainment thing. And what's
was
cool
from
about
Factory
this?
Entertainment?
Yeah.
What's that?
It was from Factory Entertainment?
It was, yeah.
Gotcha. They're awesome.
Then it came with these little things in it that, of course, you got the Hall H, you got the Pipet.
These are in its stomach as you cut it open.
Yeah. You got the tank, you got the raft, the orca, and then the license plate that was in the movie. So this would be fun to play with kids. So maybe if Derek brings the kids over sometime, we could play with the little Jaws stuffed animal.
I love the way the giant Jaws has all the things that the Jaws ate in its stomach.
Except for the Hall H side. Yeah.
Yeah. Then, of course, I got another Jaws thing, this nice little beach is closed sign. This was pretty awesome.
Love that.
And I pretty much bought all these, not the plush, but I got a lot of Jaws stuff fairly quickly as soon as I went on the floor. Got these little candy things of Jaws as well.
That's candy?
Yeah, this is Amity Island Sours.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
The shark will swallow you whole. And this says the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Yes, cool.
Katie, what you brought, was this part of a Comic-Con thing?
No, that's just an exclusive that was part of GameStop that I saw, and I finally gave it to you at Comic-Con, but it was not from Comic-Con.
I still count as part of my haul then.
Yeah. So that is for the people watching. It's the ship from Jaws, and Jaws is eating. It's what he's.
I think we got to pick. Oh, that's the wrong one. I think we got to. Whatever. I thought we had to.
On the way to right before Comic-Con, I got some Super 7 Back to the Future figures. So I got a couple of the Martys. This is from Back to the Future 1. Got Doc, where he's got that nice little outfit on, and the mind-reading helmet.
So Luke's holding up some
there's one with
figures from
Einstein.
Super 7. Yeah.
And these are those reaction figures that Super 7 sells. And they did Back to the Future 2 as well. So I bought those already, but didn't have part 1. So being Comic-Con week, sometimes I guess like other companies have sales. So Clark Toys had a really good deal on those. So I had to pick those up. And then I'll try to kick it more into gear. I've got this awesome Batman bottle opener. So it's the Batarang from the Michael Keaton Batman.
Is it from Factory Entertainment?
Which is really cool, yeah.
Luke, is that from Factory?
That was Factory as well.
Yeah, because they do the bottle openers.
And then I got this awesome Jaws keychain that looks kind of like a VHS case kind of thing. And this was also Factory.
Yeah.
Nice.
They had so much stuff.
Got the ET one as well. ET celebrating its 40th anniversary.
Yep.
And then overcutting. What's that?
It's on your shirt.
It's on my shirt. And then I had to get another one of these, so I have 3 barrels. Katie got me one before, so now I have 3. So I have 3 barrels. So
just like the movie,
that's exciting, just like in the movie. And then NECA did this like grab 5 things for $25 cash deal. So I got this awesome Home Alone hat, the Little Nero's Pizza. So
Nice.
basically everything broke down to being like $5.
You just
I
like
got this
randomly
tiki
grab
mug.
stuff.
Look at this tiki mug you got.
Nice.
So it's the
It's
fly.
Oh.
And then I actually got a second hat and gave that to Brad because he's a big Home Alone fan. Then I got this awesome Jurassic Park
Amber. Yeah.
mosquito pen. And then also a little sign. So probably put this on like the tiki bar somewhere. So it's a electric fence sign.
It's from
And,
Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this also came with some of the other, one of these other surprise
What is it that you're
items
showing?
I got.
Luke, what is that? What is it for people who are not watching? They're just listening.
It's some He-Man pens, and I gave Brad one of these for his birthday as well.
Nice.
And then got this nice Stan Lee thing.
What is it?
Someone gave me this one.
It's
a micro figures little miniature thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Patrick Rieger just walked in.
All right, so we got to finish up. Let's go.
Come on down.
No,
and
no,
then
no,
on
go.
the way at Target, I saw this nice NECA Wolfman.
Like a Wolfman from the Universal Monsters. Now you've got him and
Yeah. Well, I got the Frankenstein, but that was at a different convention, so I'm not showing that off. And then last but not least,
oh, hey
I got
Patrick.
this Mattel thing. Hello, Patrick.
What's
Haven't even opened it yet.
I have not opened it. I was going to do what's in the box, but we've taken up too much time already. So, all right, let's see.
It's
what's
from
in
Mattel.
this. What's in the box? What do you think I got, people? What do you think I got?
It's a toy. It's a big toy.
Did you buy it at the booth?
Yeah, he did.
Something.
All right.
Something Jurassic Park.
That's awesome.
I'm like, you're like like legit like having to unbox this thing. It's quite an endeavor.
Yeah.
We got a
Oh,
T-Rex.
that's amazing.
That's
Isn't
so
that
cool.
awesome?
Wait,
The
describe what it
T-Rex?
is. Describe the scene. It's so funny.
It's the scene where the lawyer runs into the Porta-John and then the T-Rex eats it. So they did this special, as you're seeing on the screen, this special Comic-Con exclusive for this. But it just looks really cool and even looks great in the box. I mean, the way they displayed it, I think is great.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's awesome.
yeah, it's like you almost don't want to take this out
You
of the
could
box.
you could keep it in the box and still see it.
And display it, which is really awesome.
Nice.
So that was probably my most expensive item I got. I spent way
All
too
right,
much
is that
money on
it?
toys. I think so.
I think we do at the end here. Hey, thank you for indulging us, guys, tonight. We love Comic-Con. We love it so much, and we know we went a little bit long tonight, but thank you so much for indulging us. You can find us at theconguy.com at all times. There's one last advertisement. These are our podcasts, The Scare Guy, The Con Girls, and The Con Kids. Katie leads our Con Girls podcast. It's on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Austin, who's not on tonight, leads The Con Kids, and The Scare Guys we are kicking into Scare Guys season. Katie is our final girl on there. We are having a lot of fun. So you can find me at James D. Fry at Instagram. Derek, where can people find you?
At Con Guy Derek on Twitter.
All right.
And right
Katie.
here.
Yep.
You can find me across all social media, including TikTok and Twitch at KT_Christine. I did start another TikTok. There's no content on it yet, but I believe it's like Diary of a Fangirl or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's going to be where I post all my concert videos, convention stuff, like very niche type stuff. So, yeah.
And I gotta just say, Katie posted a video right before Comic-Con about how to get into Hall H. Our biggest video we've ever had on Instagram. Thank you, and that was a very good video. So make sure you guys follow what Katie posts. All right, Cheeseman.
Are we saying our goodbyes? Is that what we're
This
doing?
is goodbye. We gotta go. It's time to go to
You
bed.
can find me on Instagram and Twitter, as I said at the beginning, at Cheese on Couch, and also theconguy.com.
All right. There's one last comment. I'm gonna get it in. Brad Everett, Mattel has a Porta-John booth for whatever. A Porta-John booth for people to take pictures in. All right, guys. Thank you so much for following us. We got a lot going on. We are kicking into Halloween season with the Scare Guy, so make sure you guys follow us there. But we got a lot more coming on with Con Guy. Next week, the Power Rangers panel. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.